And hey, a happy Monday for all of you out there. Hope you got something warm in your coffee cup this morning. Monday morning here in upstate New York. Got through a deep freeze over the weekend. A little bit better now. We got 30s and 40s coming this week, so that icy thaw I couldn't get to this weekend to hopefully go away. But hope you all are well wherever you are. And like I said, the coffee's hot, so we're good here on Pugsley's Pit. I'm Sean Pugsley Martin asking you the question, where else would you rather be than right here, right now? So, by way of introduction, I'm a freelance sports writer for the Albany Times Union and sports enthusiast, a big time homer for all my teams. You can see them behind me, the A's, the Bruins, Raiders, and my Huskers. Can also be found as the co-host of M&M Across the Board on a weekly basis. You can follow the show on Twitter at Pugsley's Pit and taking the podcast on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. Today's show, we're going to go through my sports world for a few minutes, talk some Raider football with our guest, Stoney, pretty popular in social media among the Raider circles, and then get into a few other topics around the world segment, including Super Bowl 56, which is upon us 6 days from now. First of all, let's go head out to Vegas. The Raiders hired Josh McDaniels a short time ago. Dave Ziegler comes over. The coaching staff is now starting to come together. The defensive coordinator, Patrick Graham, coming over from the Giants. I think it's a good hire. One of the things I liked most about what I heard from him was he may be a 3-4 base, but what you read from Max Crosby, Pro Bowl MVP on the defensive side yesterday, although he looked like he was one of the few guys actually trying, was a Crosby's a defensive end, and apparently Patrick Graham said, "Don't worry about it. They're gonna modify the looks based on what other teams are doing." Kind of like that. I like the mindset because football is an ever-changing thing, and your nickel is going to have to be your base. That's just the way the game is now. So hopefully you got an open mindset. I like what Gus Bradley did for the 1 year he was in Vegas, though that red zone defense was historically awful. So we'll get into that a little bit with Stoney and also Derek Carr, yay or nay. The most polarizing guy I've ever seen wear silver and black. So without further ado, let's bring in Raider Stoney, and welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, good morning. How's things with you?
I can't complain. A little tired, but it is what it is.
It's Monday morning. It's tough.
Yeah.
First question I have, and I've been a Raider fan for a long time. If you were GM for a day, what would you do? How busy would you be that day?
Oh, man. There's so many routes you could go. I would probably work out an extension with Derek Carr. I would. I would want to not make him the highest paid quarterback in history, though. You know what I mean?
No. They did
and
that
his agent is going to be leaning that way, but I'd want to work out an extension, try to get him on a team-friendly deal so that you can manage what's coming up, because you got a lot of players coming up that you're going to have to pay soon, or you're going to let them go, and that's what scares me the most, really.
With the new hierarchy. Yeah, same here. Kenny King Jr. was on the show last week. We talked about the same thing. I don't want the Raiders to rebuild. I've been through that enough.
Exactly.
Since 2002. I'd rather to retool and reload. You got some guys you got to get re-signed, some Gus Bradley guys. Hopefully Casey Hayward can come on back. But, what were your Carr? Let's go right to Carr, because he is
all right.
Off camera. He's the most polarizing player I've ever seen. I've been a Raider fan almost 50 years.
Oh, yeah, he's always trending just because of the fans.
It doesn't matter. His brother gives an interview and he's trending on Twitter.
Yep.
I've been a Carr guy since the day he took the field in the Meadowlands as a rookie. I believe in supporting my team, supporting the players, and I root for the uniform. But I like Carr. He stepped up as a leader this year in a complete disaster, but he's got some warts.
I think he's always been a leader. Like, people like to question that, but nobody's questioned that has been in the locker room. You haven't heard anybody that ever played around him say that he's not a leader. You just hear the fans say that he's not a leader. You know what I mean? And that's normally just an easy way to knock him, because you can't prove that he's a leader, but you can't prove that he's not a leader. You know what I mean? Just because you have bad results doesn't make him a bad leader. I think that's a weak argument. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, Raider Twitter is a pretty fascinating thing, since sometimes you got to take a break a little bit.
Because, oh, man, it's toxic. It is toxic.
Seriously, if the Raiders lose on a Sunday or a Monday, I take a 3 or 4 day break until I
Oh
can
yeah,
get ready for the next week because it is brutal.
you have to. And if you put your opinion out there and it's not commonplace, you're screwed. They're just gonna bombard you. It's terrible. Some of the DMs I get, I'll just throw my opinion out there, and somebody will DM me death threats. You know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous, and it doesn't matter which side of the coin you're on,
Yeah.
because I'll criticize Derek Carr, and then somebody will send me a rude DM. But when I'm positive for Derek Carr, that's when I get death threats. It's incredible.
It's a little rough. It's football. Okay,
Yeah,
look, it's important. All right, I'm wearing the logo today. It's all important and all that stuff, but it's not. Oh, there you go. I didn't see the 4 on there. Very nice. The thing with Carr, do you think it hurts him? He seems like a good guy. He's a likable guy. Do you think that some people, some fans at least, that maybe he's too likable, too nice, and doesn't bring that in, the intensity? How does that translate to in-game play?
yeah. Especially when you see him like mic'd up and he's being nice to the opposing team as he's playing them. It's like, come on, just give him a little jab here and there. You know what I mean? Talk some trash. Get in there
Yeah,
a little bit. You don't have to get irate with it, but I don't know. Just show some aggression. You know what I mean? He's
yeah,
always laid back.
yeah. What do you think of Josh McDaniels coming in?
I don't like it. I didn't like Josh McDaniels as a candidate.
Yep.
I don't know. I wasn't big on keeping Bisaccia, but if they wanted to, whatever, you know. But there's so many different. I like Bieniemy out at Kansas City. I really thought that they were just going to wait and snag him or Harbaugh. You know, get somebody in there. McDaniels, I could see the hype around it, but I can't at the same time. I don't. I hope he proves me wrong, but I don't have high expectations for him.
Yeah, I Harbaugh was my number one preferred. I like Bisaccia. The one problem I had with him, his game management skills were suspect at best. Though he'd never been in that spot, so could he learn? Yeah, maybe. Um, Bieniemy would have been a great choice. I kind of forgot about him because his name dropped off until it heard he's going to interview with the Saints. I hope he gets that job. Addition by subtraction, I think it hurts the Chiefs
Yeah, it does.
if Bieniemy goes. I don't think he gets nearly enough credit there. Um,
No, Andy Reid steals all the credit. Unintentionally, I'm sure he's not out there trying to steal the credit, but everybody will just give Andy Reid all credit.
yeah, yeah. It would have, I think it would have been a home run higher too had it been McDaniels. I'm the same boat as you. I know it was a long time ago, and you hope he learned from his mistakes. The guy drafted Tim Tebow in the first round.
Yeah,
That's just I can't
yeah.
get past that.
You do that. You do that on the Raiders. You pull something like that, and the fans are gonna eat you alive. Look what happened with Cleveland Farrell. You know what I mean? They're still talking about that. It's horrible.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you on that note. There's some that you read that think, Mayock loses his job. I kind of wish he had been back for one more year to see what he could do
I wanted
without
that bad.
Gruden's shadow. I don't think you can discount the fact that Gruden took the swing on the big early reaches to kind of get all the credit and be in the limelight, and Mayock was doing the dirty work that yielded Crosby and Hunter Renfrow and Nate Hobbs and a few others. Any thoughts on that?
That's definitely how it felt. You can't really prove it,
Yeah.
and Mayock's never going to come out and say it.
No, he can't.
I
It's
really,
too easy.
I really wish he would. You know, just shed some light on who was who. You know what I mean? Like, this was my pick. This was Gruden's pick, but he's not gonna. But the later round picks were definitely Mayock, and that gave me optimism. You look at guys like Crosby and Hunter Renfrow, and it's like, yeah, all right, now give him a shot to draft somebody through a full draft, But obviously that didn't come to fruition. I definitely didn't like the Ziegler hire though, which
No.
leads me to not like the Josh McDaniels hire.
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
the Patriot way that they run things is going to fit in Vegas. Like I said, I could be wrong. I'm not hoping for anything negative, but I don't think it's going to work.
The other problem I have with McDaniels, okay, it's his second time around. He's had a lot of time. He's had 10, 11 years to think about it. Some say, well, he coached with Belichick a long time. Oh, that doesn't make him Bill Belichick.
Exactly.
It,
everybody's looking at them because they're from the Patriots and they're getting the big Bill Belichick vibes, but it doesn't mean that it's going to work out the same. You don't have Tom Brady, it's not the same thing.
No, it's not. And if you look at the failures on the Belichick tree, they're all there. I mean, the best one's Brian Flores, and he somehow lost his job in Miami this year.
That's unbelievable. That's a whole different topic for a whole other day. I can go on forever on that.
I was kind of hoping McDaniels would reach out to Flores if he doesn't get one of the two jobs left. And what I'm hearing now is Houston might elevate Lovie Smith from the defensive coordinator to the head coaching job, and then Flores would have been a nice fit in Vegas because I think players would play for him. He seems like a real guy, and for him to, I think he had a lot of courage for what he did, stepping out to sue the NFL, knowing that might hurt his career. I think that's a lot of credibility coming into a locker room.
Well, that is amazing what he's doing, but that also screws his career. Like, nobody's going to hire him really because you can't unless you really want to give the middle finger to the NFL, which would be an Al Davis move, but I don't think it's a Mark Davis move.
Yes, it would. Hey, what do you see in the draft? Where do you think the Raiders should look to? We need a game breaker to replace Henry Ruggs. The offensive line was in and out all year. Any thoughts on the draft early on?
Early, I'm waiting for my total assessment, but we definitely need a wide receiver and a tackle. Like, you have to, if you don't target that in free agency, you have to draft that. You can't ignore it. Otherwise, if you're going to keep Carr and you're not going to bolster that line, you're going to have a lot of fumbles. And that's going to, even if your defense is playing top notch, all those fumbles are just going to be very costly.
What were your thoughts on the season? 10-7 made the playoffs. Bottom line was it was a success, but it was the biggest roller coaster ride I've ever been on as a Raider fan.
Yeah, I like the way the season ended, obviously, because playoffs, and they made it on their own accord. You didn't need a gimme from somebody else. No crap. You just get right in. That was nice.
Yeah.
I thought that might have helped, Mayock or Bisaccia a little bit, but that didn't work out at all. That's what scares me. Like, you're taking that team. I hope they don't rebuild, but we have yet to see what they're going to do with personnel. But you took that team and you took all the management that brought them to the playoffs, and you were just like, yeah, get out of here now. We're going to get somebody else in here.
Well, that's McDaniels coming in kind of leads me to believe it's not going to be a rebuild because he could have had jobs the last few years. He left Indy high and dry back in 2018. Would he really take over a reclamation project? He needs to come in and win. This is his second chance at a head coaching gig. If this one fails, he's probably done in that sense. He'll be an offensive coordinator for the rest of his career. A lot of times guys that don't win don't get their third chance at it.
I think it all hinges on Ziegler, though. Whatever he wants to do, how he wants to work the contracts. And they're not known for paying people. They're known for getting rid of them and bringing other people. You know what I mean? And then you got guys like Max Crosby, Hunter Renfrow that are coming up that you're going to have to pay, or are they just going to release them? Maybe trade them early. It could be a horrible situation like when Gruden came in. Everybody was all hopeful and ecstatic, and then he trades Mac and everything went.
Yeah, you couldn't have misplayed that one worse. I was actually covering a Division III football game the Saturday. It happened a week before the season opener. He torpedoed the year and the morale in the locker room 8 days before the season started. I still can't believe they did that.
It torpedoed the fans too. Like, you can't take the favorite player and just randomly get rid of him, especially when he's that good.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think he's played as good as he really is while he's on the Bears, don't get me wrong. But when he was with us, he was elite, top-notch, the guy.
He was. How long have you been a Raider fan?
I've been a Raider fan since I was a little kid. The first football game I watched was when Bo Jackson broke that run against Seattle.
Okay.
I was sitting in my aunt's living room in Seattle. My dad was a 49ers fan, and they were all Seahawks fans. And my aunt was like, what team do you like? And Bo Jackson broke off with that run, and I said, him. I like that team. And from then on, I've just been a Raiders fan.
That's a good choice. I'll never forget the bad run against Cincinnati in the playoffs. You could just tell something really bad had happened. And you see a lot on Twitter. If there was one player you could see his career hadn't been cut short by injury, Bo Jackson's always my pick because he was a machine.
Absolutely. I didn't see it. You know what I mean? Like, I saw the injury, and I didn't think that it was that severe. I just thought he was hurt for a couple games. He'll be back. And then slowly but surely you find out he's not coming back ever.
No, that's too bad. That was awful.
Imagine hurting yourself like that from your own power, though. Holy crap.
Yeah, that's
such a force.
What did you take from the playoff? I don't like consolations in any losses. That game got 26-16 against the Bengals, and you're like, oh man, this is going to have a really crappy ending here. And they fought back. I think Raider teams the last few years would not have had that fight in them to get back in that game. Did you think about that at all?
Uh, a little bit. They the whole end of the year they've been fighting, so I wasn't too concerned with it. As soon as that play happened, though, and you hear the whistle blew and everybody stopped and the touchdown happened, I knew we were kind of screwed. Like that's when you kind of get that common Raider feeling, like, all right, this is not going to go the way we want.
Hey, the 30 for 30 on the Tuck rule is coming out. You going to watch that?
Absolutely, I love
You
Charles
are.
Woodson. Oh yeah, I love Charles Woodson, and I love to I love to see him go at Tom Brady. Everything Tom Brady says to me is crap about it. So
I agree.
he has to defend that situation. I get it, but just it's a painful moment. But I love Charles Woodson enough that like I just have to watch it. There's no way around it.
That's a good argument for it. I've flat out said I will not watch it. I can't relive it. I've relived it for 20 years. It's my most haunting sports memory, and I'm a
How do you
big
think
fan.
Charles Woodson feels about that? You know what I mean? He's got to relive that every time someone adds him on Twitter. Every year on the anniversary of it, they tag him. It's
Yeah,
That's got to be brutal for him. That
no,
should have went down as a fumble.
absolutely, absolutely. I remember watching the game and Phil Simms. They showed the replay, and he was doing the color, and they showed two hands on the ball. He's like, "How is that an incomplete pass?" I still can't get over it.
Nope,
And
it's
then,
not.
and for
Even when
me,
Brady, I saw a highlight of Woodson and Brady, and even when Brady's explaining it, he slips and says it's a fumble. You know what I mean? Because it's a fumble.
well, the game action, the live feed, Brady's walking off the field, shoulders kind of slumped, his head's down, knowing that
Because
they
he
just
knows he fumbled it.
he knows he fumbled the ball and the season's over. And
Yep.
and lo and behold, the what I hate to give props to anybody that beats the Raiders. The one thing about that game that's underrated is Vinatieri's kick that tied that game, 40
Oh, that
plus yards in that way. That's the best kick in the history of the NFL.
yeah, that was a beautiful kick.
It
I
was.
can't take anything away from that. But
No,
that kick should never happen.
it shouldn't have happened. The greatest upset of the night was my neighbors that lived above me in my apartment. It wasn't uncommon for them to file a police complaint against me for noise coming from my apartment. How they didn't call the cops that night, I think I know for a fact that an unopened champagne bottle went flying across my living room when they called that ball
Oh
an
yeah.
incomplete pass.
Oh, I had to remodel my living room, and I'm not proud of that, but I did.
I'd be proud of it. Fact is fact, though. But hey, let's look ahead. Sunday, you got a Super Bowl pick for me? How do you see that game coming down?
See, that's brutal because I love Joe Burrow. I've loved him
Yeah.
since he was in college, and I really want Matt Stafford to get a ring. I don't like the Rams, but I want Matt Stafford to get a ring just to give like the middle finger to the Lions and just to prove that the Lions suck and he wasn't the problem. You know what I mean? Because that's kind of the vibes you're getting from the whole scenario. If he wins, then it's just like a huge middle finger to Detroit, and I'm all about that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, Cooper Cup, Matthew Stafford, they deserve a ring. Whether or not they get it this year, who knows? But I really want to see Joe Burrow just come out and light the NFL on fire and just keep going.
And no quarterback's ever won a national title, a Heisman, and a Super Bowl, and he might do it in a span of 3 seasons.
It's amazing. Like that kid's got talent.
He
Ship
does.
him off to the NFC.
Yeah, right. The thing with Burrow, I mean, they were down 21-3 at Kansas City, and they were going nowhere fast, and they tightened it up on defense. And for them to come back, I thought was just remarkable. They don't look like a team that's never really been in the playoffs.
No, they don't. But Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, they just have that swagger about them. Like it doesn't, not like it doesn't matter, but like the situation doesn't bother them. They're just like, yeah, all right, let's go out here and do this, and it works.
It does, and I never realized how good their defense was until I really kind of got to watch them during the Raider playoff game. They got a pass rush that doesn't quit. They harass Carr during the day, and they're good in coverage. I mean, the Raiders had first and goal on the 9-yard line with about a minute plus to play, and they defended it well. And I know the Raider red zone offense was garbage, and kind of happy Greg Olson's gone. I'm very happy Greg Olson's gone. But
I think a lot of people are very happy that Greg Olson's gone. That's the one move that everybody can agree that we need to just get away from Greg Olson at this point.
yeah, I don't think Gruden was calling the plays the whole time, but it was just terrible with him.
He wasn't helpful, and in the red zone, neither him nor Gruden were helpful.
No, and even before that, I could tell how a game was going to go in the first series. If they would come out and go off tackle, up the middle, and a screen pass 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and A.J. Cole come out and punt, and I knew it was going to be a long day for the offense. You could just tell. And sometimes they come out, Dallas Thanksgiving, they come out throwing the ball, they get a touchdown and long pass to Deshaun Jackson on the first series, and now we got a great ball game. They were so predictable, it's scary.
Yeah, the fans knew exactly what was going to happen before it even happened. It was brutal.
Is there a certain, you said it before, being a Raider fan, you kind of get used to some things. Is that how frustrating is that for you? I know it's tough, and you're gonna get shitty phone or shitty calls from the officials. You're never gonna get a call. What is life like as a Raider fan? Especially, you and I are not in Vegas or in Oakland or anything like that, so we're kind of out on our own island in our communities. What's it like for you?
It's terrible. I mean, it's awesome. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't change I wouldn't change my team for the world. But it's terrible being a Raiders fan because you know that the officials are just going to bone you. And as soon as you see the boning happen, like when they pull out the index card and you're like, what the hell's going on with that? It doesn't matter because you're screwed and nobody's going to do anything about it. You can bitch all you want. Doesn't matter. Facts are facts. This is how we're doing it, and you're screwed.
It goes back. One of the first football games I ever saw was the Immaculate Incompletion to Franco Harris in '72. That's kind of my Raider fandom started the next year. I just moved out to California from upstate New York. And you're like, wow, that's weird. And then you grow older and you hear more about it. That never should have happened. The only call we ever really got was '78 with the Holy Roller against San Diego, a little makeup call for us.
1 second, you're getting ready for a Super Bowl push. The next second, it wasn't a fumble. It's a tuck rule. That sums up the tuck rule really sums up Raider fandom.
I still say they made the rule up under the hood during the replay. I never heard of it.
Oh, they called it a couple of times that year, but even those, it was like, yeah, all right. But this one, you couldn't. There's no way. It was a fumble.
Will you ever get over that?
No, never in a million years. They could do whatever they want. They can't turn back time. You screwed us.
Yeah,
and it happens repeatedly. It really does. Like every year, there's some magic call somewhere that just screws the Raiders just enough, bumps them out of the playoffs on a bullshit whistle. Like you can't make this stuff up at the same time. You kind of expect it. So when you see it, you're like, there it is. That's the moment. That's that exact moment that screws us. And everybody's like, no. And then you lose, and they're like, oh yeah, that's what happens.
The hard part for the tuck rule for me. Is that I'm married to a Patriots fan from out near Boston.
Oh no!
Yeah.
I'm so sorry for you.
My screening process was flawed. I made it. When it comes to sports, I should have investigated. But you go out there and the whole family's Patriot fans, and it's just awful.
Oh no, that's brutal for you.
Comes up.
Yeah, you're surrounded by Patriots fans.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, and they let me know.
Do they let you know that it's a fumble?
Oh, absolutely not.
Oh, man. Nobody can ever own up to it on that side.
They will never own up to it. Never. I was out there over 10 years ago, me and my two other brothers-in-law and then my father-in-law watching a Pats game, and I was in the good seat. I was like favorite son-in-law that day. And the Pats were playing in a game, and there was a fumble from the other team. And they blew the whistle. I'm like, that was a tuck. And all of a sudden, I got moved to the back of the living room. Hey, you go over there, you sit over here, you take that seat. I'm like, what are you talking about?
It doesn't work both ways. It only works one way.
That's the way it goes. I guess that's the fun of it for them, but not for me, because like I said, I'll never get over it. But hey, look, for the viewers, how can they find you? How can they follow you on for your Raiderness?
You can find me on Twitter at Raider Stoney.
That's great. Any of the observations on Raider football before we cut you loose?
No, right now we're still building our team, from the office out. So you got to wait and see how that plays out, and then see what kind of moves they start to make, and see if it's really going to be a rebuild or not. I know Mark Davis said it's not, but
Yeah,
nobody expected it to be a full rebuild when John Gruden came in either. You
this is
figured
true.
little tinkering here and there, but next thing you know, Mac's gone. So I'm not optimistic, but I'm hopeful.
I think Max is such a leader in that locker room. There's some guys you have got to retain. He's one of them.
Yeah.
Him and Waller and Carr, for Waller's story and all that stuff, and the positive impact he had on Crosby as well. So,
And with them not being willing, well, appearing to not be willing to pay people, it's it scares me, because you got Waller, you got Crosby, you got Renfro, Carr's contract's coming up. What are they gonna re-sign him, or are they gonna draft a kid from college and let him play out this year?
yeah,
Is Carr gonna, if they do that, is Carr gonna just sit there and play it out, or is he gonna hold out with his agent? You know what I mean? Like, you never know how things are gonna play out. And it could get nasty. It could be nice,
yeah,
but it can get real nasty real fast. And I'm hoping that they don't make the wrong decisions.
yeah. Hey, do you think Vegas, especially not having any state tax on income, makes it more inviting? Plus, the city is obviously a lot of fun. You just got to be more responsible than some of the younger Raider players this year. You think Vegas is an attraction to some free agents, though?
Absolutely, absolutely. The Vegas, the city itself, the no taxes, it's definitely a draw. And we're a playoff team, so you can't count that out. So we're contenders, whether or not we got bumped out, whatever. But we're still contenders in the playoffs. A lot of players want to play like that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, they want to play for winning teams. So when it comes down to this team or that team, if it's the Jets or the Raiders that want to sign you, where are you going to go?
yeah,
You're gonna go to Vegas, where you don't have to pay the taxes, and you got a shot at winning something.
yeah, yeah. All right. Well, let's hope so. Well, listen, I appreciate your time this morning. Thanks for coming on. Hopefully, we'll have you on again real soon.
Absolutely.
All right. Enjoy your day.
You too. Have a
All
great
right,
day.
buddy. Bye now. That was Raider Stoney. I thank him for joining us today on Pugsley's Pit. Let's go around the world. And first, we're going to go right back to Vegas. We talked about do we extend Carr or not, what the Raiders are going to do. I don't think they can keep him around on his 1 year, $19 million deal. He's either going to extend him or you're going to move him on. I would like to see the Raiders extend him. Successful franchises have continuity, and the Raiders have not had continuity in a long, long time. So you kind of need that. You're bringing in a new coach, a new GM, a new coaching staff. So you got a lot of people now. If you move on from Carr, again, it signals a rebuild, and I don't think any Raider fans really want that. So sign the man, give him a contract, a couple years. You can always, you can tailor these deals to where you can move on from them pretty easily with some dead money. So let's see what happens. Before we get to the Super Bowl pick and prediction, I want to talk about the Major League Baseball lockout a little bit. The most troubling thing for me coming out of this was in the last week was that the MLB wanted a federal mediator. The players said no, and now all of a sudden everyone's lobbying on Twitter, giving their case. The one thing I was hoping through the holidays and whatnot was there wasn't a lot of news on this. I was hoping that the negotiations were going well behind the scenes and that they weren't publicly lobbying their cases. That has changed now. Major League Baseball is taking up issuing statements, and a lot of players are going out to Twitter, and they're keeping it clean. They're keeping it just to what they feel as though they should get. The fact now that it's become a little bit public really kind of sours me. Today's February 7th. Do they need a deal today? No. It would be great, but they don't. Really, March 1 is your deadline. March 31st is scheduled to be opening day. I don't think players need 6 weeks of spring training. But the later you go, the more chance you have for the season being interrupted, delayed, or if they try and rush it, that's when a lot of pitching injuries come through. The athletes are a creature of habit, right? And if they're used to X number of weeks that they need to get ready, if they don't have that, you might be risking a problem. So hopefully baseball can figure it out. Honestly, I'm not on the side of the players. I'm not on the side of the owners. I'm on the side of the fans. And I love my baseball. And don't screw it up, because nothing feels like a kick in the groin more than a labor stoppage. I can't stand it. Anyway, Las Vegas, Super Bowl 56 on Sunday. Throw you a little prediction here before we get ready to move on for the week. Offensively, the Rams solid, right? Stafford, Cup, Odell Beckham is really, really put Cleveland in a bad spot because they revitalized his career in LA. They're explosive. They've been a lot of fun to watch in these playoffs. On the defensive side, they're as good a defense as you're going to find. Aaron Donald is a beast. He's one of the all-time greats on the defensive front. Jalen Ramsey back in the secondary is real tough. The Rams are they're gonna bring it all. Yeah, they're playing on their home field. That helps a little. The crowd's not going to be a program. I don't think they have enough fans to have it a program crowd. There's more Niner fans in the NFC title game, it looked like on TV. But anyway, that's a non-issue. They get the familiarity being home, and that might count for something, but we'll see. The Bengals, Joe Burrow, as Stoney and I were talking about, he has just been phenomenal. Incredible start last year. He tears his knee up. He's come back this year. Good for the Bengals. Good for Zach Taylor, former Nebraska quarterback back here. You got to love Burrow, Jamar Chase. Joe Mixon is a beast. I think he's going to have a real good game. He's going to be counted on. You got to be able to run the ball. You got to be able to kind of keep the Rams offense off the field a little bit. I don't know if the Bengals can win a shootout if it gets into the high 30s or 40s, and that could very well happen. I'm not sure you can get that many on the Ram defense, so I think the Bengals will score. The Bengal defense is sneaky good. Stoney and I talked about that. They get to the quarterback. They cause turnovers. They make plays. I think they're going to make enough that this game is going to be close. The biggest difference I see in this game, now this is a playoff. You go back and look at all the other games, all close, all down to the wire. Let's hope we get one more, okay? Because this has been such a fun playoff run with all these close games ending on the last play of the game in the last minute. The biggest difference I see, Evan McPherson is money for the Bengals. He doesn't miss. And the Rams, not as good in the kicking game. Official prediction, Bengals 30, Rams 28. McPherson wins it in the last minute with another field goal. You want to call it 50 yards because he's set an NFL record, I think, for single season 50-yarders. We'll go with the Bengals 30-28. Joe Burrow gets his Heisman NCAA title and then his Super Bowl. Well, the first one to ever do it. So let's see. Let's hope it's a good game. I don't have an issue with either team, so I don't have a big rooting interest in it. I just want to see a great football game. And what I want to see in the Super Bowl, you've only seen it a few times in history. Joe Montana in the 88 season, 89 Super Bowl, the big rally against the Bengals on that final drive for them to win it. Even Green Bay and Pittsburgh 11 years ago, Ben Roethlisberger has the ball in his hands with 2 minutes to go, trying to win the Super Bowl. Did not do it, as he did against Arizona a few years prior on that pass to Santonio Holmes. That's the drama I want to see as a football fan. Let's see a great game, and let's see one of these quarterbacks have to drive their team down the field to win a Super Bowl and see if they can do it, because that is the stuff legends are made of. So again, Rams, Bengals, 30-28 Cincinnati. Thanks again for joining us on the show again this week. We'll have a new guest next week. And as always, the shameless plug for my book, Dear Liam Manoa, Letters from Daddy. Wrote it about 1.5 years ago. Available on Amazon and Kindle. So that's it, folks. Have a great week. Let's hope for a great Super Bowl. And for those in the Northeast, let's warm up. It's going to be 30s and 40s, and let's get rid of some of that ice. All right. Take care, y'all. Coffee.